Hi guys, so I've done a second course of the malachite green reforming. This fish isn't looking as red, but it's still got quite a heavy mucus coat on it. You can move out of the way. You see it's got a very distinct sheen of white mucus. And it doesn't want to come close. So I'm going to do a little experiment today, and that is to take a scrape from the pond wall and the shower, just to see what's in there. So they're the only ones which are so that's the only one which isn't looking too clever. The rest are seeming to be okay, but they are still flicking a bit. Hi guys, welcome back. I'm just having a bit of a mess around with some scrapes of the pond wall and just showing you that there's a little gadget you can get which actually plugs into your microscope and into a laptop or computer. The experience I've had with that gadget is it's not brilliant. It's okay for looking at things which are bigger, such as flukes, but for smaller things like Costia, I wouldn't trust it. So I mean, you can't beat using your eyes through an actual microscope lens. So I'll post some footage of the actual laptop screen using the plug-in camera, and then I'll do the rest of the footage using my phone, because I think you get much better images that way, and it is near enough true to what you see with your own eyes. So I'll take a scrape of the pond wall and I will see if I can actually reach the shower lip. We shall see. So I'm just going to show you the other little gadget I've got, which attaches into the microscope itself. So there's the drum going. Right, so this is a Brunel microscope camera. It attaches to like a mini USB into a laptop and then gives you this screen, which is black at the moment because the cover's on. So it's easy enough to install. You just have to make sure that you've put the software on and you've secured the camera once you've got it the right way up, but I won't know what that is until I've done a scrape. So I will go and do that right now. Okay, so I'm going to take a scrape of the wall and get to it. Let's see what we get. Not much. Must be very clean walls. Oh, there we go, that's better. Right, so there we go. Right, so I'm just going to get this on the slide. Shouldn't need too much. So there's the wall scraping. Just mount it into the microscope. Turn on the light. Let's see what there is. There's a lot of debris, obviously. Right, so I'm just gonna get the camera lens in. So there's a little screw under here. Just there, really hard to see with this camera. It just lifts out, leaves a hole. Make sure you put that somewhere safe. Try not to drop everything. So this cover comes off. And slots in there. Gives you a picture on here. I can just turn it round. See something moving. Quite bright, so I might just need to adjust the iris. It really doesn't match up to the using your eye. But there's a little nematode. There's a few of them actually. There we go. There is a bit of a delay on it as well. Trying to get the focus right. It's quite difficult. Oh, there's another one. So it's this thing here which I'm looking at, and there's another one up here, another one down here, another one up here. So those are harmless to your fish. I'm just interested to see what else is lurking. So what I might do is I'm just going to switch over to the phone holder. So that's a little gander of this gadget. Like I say, it's okay, but your eye is much better. There's another little something or other there. That. Don't know what that is because I can't really see it all that clearly, but I'll get the phone mount on and get some images that way. Right, so this is the phone mount, a little gadget I used in one of my previous videos. This is a scrape off the pond wall, and it's at the 10/0.25 magnification. So you can see there's a bit of movement on here. These are what I believe are some sort of nematodes. They're not harmful to the fish. But they are pretty creepy. Looks like little worms, and there's something which is bombing around there as well, which is too fast for me to focus on. But these are just a bit smaller than a fluke. But you can see their movements are quite similar to flukes. And that looks like it might actually be a fluke. So this is the magnification I used where I could actually see the costia on the last scrape I did. I just want to try and get a bit of a closer look to that. So the only problem with having a scrape on the pond wall is you get a lot of debris with it, and it's not quite as see-through as what the mucus is on a fish. Come on. Let me see you. Very suspicious. Just having to constantly adjust the brightness. So with a skin scrape you usually don't have to go quite as much variance with the depth of field, but with the debris of the pond wall obviously it's a bit thicker and it restricts the light. There's something else whizzing around. No, I think I've lost it. That's annoying. Anyway, I'm sure we'll find something else. Oh, what's that there? Seen something wiggling. So I'm going to have a quick scan round. Oh, what's that? Oh, I'm sure I just saw a costia flying around then. So these parasites like costia and flukes supposedly need a host to survive on. how long they can survive without a host, I do not know. That's another sort of like little rotifer. Quite hard to see. I think it's my little friend there. Is that a fluke or not? It doesn't look like it's moving like a fluke. No, it's not. That's another, I think it's another rotifer type creature. Yeah, so it keeps moving forward and springing back. Let's have another little scan round. I'll put the magnification onto something a bit bigger, just until we get something moving. Something there. Let's zoom in, see if I can find it. See little things bombing around again. Something right in the middle there moving. Can't quite make out what it is. Yeah, it's just too thick with the debris to get a good view of that. But I mean, using a microscope and just taking a scrape at the pond sides is really good practice, and it doesn't stress your fish out. It might stress you out because you'll be thinking, what the hell is that? But as with anything, practice makes perfect. It's just learning how to use your mechanical stage, how to change your focus, how to change your brightness, your iris, just so you can get the best view of the slide, which makes sure you can find whatever's affecting your koi. The best place to look in a scrape is like in the little rivulets of water. So all the spaces, just have a look in there. And if you scan the entire slide from corner to corner, you know you've not missed anything. Something else there, look. It's quite hard to get a decent view of this. Yep. Adjusting the lighting again. It's too bright. Potiphar. So you can only just see little tiny rivulets of water where it seems to be sucking the water into its mouth, probably to catch its food. But these look like little tulips. Again, harmless to your fish. It's just part of the natural biodiversity which grows on your pond walls. And again, little nematode there, quite a few of them actually. Another one. Little beastie. Where's that going? Aha, there's a better view. That isn't a fluke, it just moves like one. So there are two types of flukes, there's the skin flukes and the gill flukes. Gill flukes have 4 little dots in the centre of the body and they lay eggs. Skin flukes have the horrible hooks and the big mouthpiece, and they are live bearers. I'm pleased to say that those are neither. They're just mooching around, finding the food, minding their own business. Right, that's how I go at taking a scrape off the shower. Now when I've done that before, I've actually found costia and flukes in abundance. So bearing in mind that I've treated twice now for the costia with formalin malachite green. So in theory there shouldn't be any costia kicking around. I can't actually reach the shower, so I'm going to improvise. That'll do. Right, so I didn't get all that much on there. I'm just gonna dilute it with a bit of water from the pond. Here's one I prepared earlier. So just a drop. Push it up. Just put another little tab on it. There we go, that should do it. So again, there's a bit of debris on there, not quite as much as on the other slide. Obviously, because I couldn't get as much. Well, that's the pond side, and that's the shower. Right, so this is the scrape from the shower lip. Some little doofers moving around there. It's not moving like a fluke. I'm going to zoom in, see what it is. If I can find it. There it is. As you can see, it does look very flukish. And this is the magnification where I can easily see flukes, and I can't see any dots, and I can't see any hooks, and it's got a slightly different body shape, although it does move very similarly to what a fluke does. Let's see what else we've got. Something there. Another weird and wonderful creature. There's something moving really fast there. Hard to say because I can't get a good image. I don't think it's Costia. It's not moving quite as erratically. And there's another thing here. Again, that I suppose that could be mistaken for a white spot, but it doesn't have the telltale horseshoe pattern in it. It's probably just more of the natural fauna and flora which lives in the pond. Now that I would say is a Childenella. It's lemon shaped, it moves slowly, doesn't whiz around like Costia does. Those ones are normally the opportunistic parasite. Hello. He's in a rush. Another nematode. Another one of those not flukes. Yeah, I mean normally with a slide, if I'd taken it off a fish, I'd be methodical in going from corner to corner, edge to edge, scanning it all at 2 different magnifications. but with this just being a little bit of a mess around, I'm not overly fussed. It's just interesting to see what actually lives on your pond walls. Well, you don't often think about things like that. I thought I could see a cross deer flying around then. Something else. Not doing a great deal. Oh, there he is. Our little guy in a rush. If you've made it this far, well done. So I'm just going to zoom out. I've got a bit better view of them. Have a quick last scan. Before I call it a day. So, one of the best bits of equipment I've invested in was actually the microscope. I didn't know anything about parasites or that sort of thing when I first started getting really into keeping the koi. It wasn't until I joined the Yorkshire Koi Society that I actually started learning a lot more about actually keeping water right as well as the koi. So as long as your water's good, then that's half the battle, I think. I mean, I've been interested in koi since I was little. My dad used to have a pond in his garden, and obviously I grew up, had interests in other things, and sort of like fell back into it really. So I've had a few ponds, yeah, with the usual, thought I'd dig a hole, stick a liner in it and a few fish and everything would be good. Worst, let's wait for the drum to finish. So the worst experience I ever actually had was in a liner pond, which I think I was about 17, 18 when I dug that. I had a cheap sponge filter from the local garden centre and put some plants in because I thought it'd look nice. I didn't do anything to the plants, didn't disinfect them, and wondered why my fish started dying. I pulled them out and it was absolutely riddled with fish leeches. Couldn't find any sort of treatments or medication to get rid of them. I ended up resorting to spending a hell of a lot of money on a crustacean treatment for a fish tank, and as you can imagine, they're only small bottles of sort of like 50, 60 mils tops, and I needed maybe 8 boxes of 20 to treat the pond. Nearly lost all of my fish. I was having to quarantine them into a vat, try and heat it. I was sedating them, I was picking the leeches off with tweezers, but obviously the juveniles you couldn't really see, and they'd get in the gills, they'd get in the mouth, and there's only so long you can keep a fish out of water for without it actually succumbing to the anaesthetic or suffocating. So that was a bit of a shock to the system. Very steep learning curve to make sure that you disinfect your plants if you do have them, or not use them at all. Yeah, so that brings me to the parasite problem at the moment. So get yourself a microscope if you haven't got one. If you're new to the hobby, get a microscope, get slides, get cover slips. Start practicing on just random stuff you find to see how you can learn to use the scope before you actually try and take a scrape off a live fish, because that in itself isn't an easy task, especially if you're not used to handling them. They're really slippery for starters, and if they're a big fish they can give you a good whack in the face given half a chance, and then next thing you know you're trying to chase a fish across the garden, which I've done myself. It was okay, thankfully. It soon got chucked back into the pond after the scrape. But you know, it's things like that. It's making sure that you actually prepare your workspace as it is. Make sure you've got your equipment, so a net, a koi sock. If it's easier for you, get a bowl with some water in from the pond to transfer the fish from the pond into the bowl to be able to take the scrape easier, which I did show on one of my previous videos. Yeah, so it's just practice really, being sure with your handling of the fish. I'm sure they can smell fear, and being aware of the body language of the fish as well. If they start rearing the head up and looking like they're going to launch themselves, and 10 out of 10 times they do, and like I say, you don't want to be chasing a slippery jumping fish across your patio or your lawn, because they can do a lot of damage to themselves. So yeah, I've waffled on a bit there, sorry, but it's just, I just want to share my experiences and hopefully impart some of that knowledge and learning onto you newer keepers. So yeah, that was just a little mess around, and hopefully in the next few days there'll be a bit more progress on the new pond build. So when I've got a bit more footage worth watching, then I'll be chucking together another video and uploading that. So I mean, I've had a YouTube channel since 2016 I think, but I've never actually uploaded much onto it. It's just been like random videos, but I think it's interesting to share experiences and yeah, just enjoy the hobby, even though at times it is really difficult. But yeah, so if somebody learns from me doing these videos, then that's a win in my book. So anyway, thank you for everyone who has subscribed. I'm actually really surprised at how many people are finding my videos actually interesting. So yeah, thanks again, and I'll see you later.